Hey, in this video, I'll be sitting down with one of my former students who went from being a D1 college football player to becoming a software engineer after he finished working with me in the Roots Technology Coding and Career Prep program. If you're new here, my name is TJ, and I'm a self-taught software engineer that teaches beginners like yourself how to code and helps them prepare for the job search. This interview you're about to watch is with one of my former students, and we're doing this interview his third week on the job, so you are going to get a fresh perspective on what the journey to learn how to code was like for him, as well as what the first day working as a software engineer was like, and what it feels like now almost 3 weeks later. So, if you're interested in learning to code and making the career transition he did, definitely check out the Roots Technology Coding and Career Prep program and learn to code with me as your mentor. And make sure you watch this full video because he has a lot of great insight and advice that'll help you on your coding journey. Also, help support my channel by liking this video and subscribing to my channel because I have a lot more interviews like this with beginners coming soon. So comment below to let me know your thoughts.
All right. So Obi, what's up, man? How you doing?
And I'm all good, man. Excited about the interview and just excited to talk about my journey and roots.
For sure, for sure. So you've been a software engineer for about 2.5 weeks now, right?
That's correct.
All right. Can we just start the interview by you introducing yourself, telling us your name, and just pretty much telling us what you were doing before you were a software engineer?
Okay. So my name is Obi. I was a former Division I athlete, football player. I played at Marshall University and the University of Oklahoma.
Hey, hold on. What time is it? It's 7:10 p.m. and OU still sucks.
Come on, man.
My bad.
Come on, man.
My bad.
But yeah, went to those schools. Was a 3-year starter at Marshall. I wound up grad transferring to Oklahoma. Got hurt, unfortunate situations. And then I pretty much wanted to enter like the real world. I didn't really want to continue the football path because I kind of saw the end of the tunnel, and there's so much more in life than just trying to catch touchdowns and things like that. And I wanted to find something I could do until I was 60.
Wow.
So I was kind of researching, and I came across a bunch of different fields I can get into. And what really came to my mind and what really drew me to it was software engineering.
Okay.
So I actually I came across one of your videos, and this was around like March of 2021, I believe. So I came across one of your videos, and with me, if I see something, I gotta research it, gotta sleep on it, and I kept just watching videos and things like that. So I reached out to you. You probably don't remember, but I scheduled a Zoom call, and I kind of just asked you a bunch of questions about the software engineering and how Roots was, what the journey was, how to enter the program and things like that. So I got off the call, got all the information I needed from you. And I believe a couple of days after that, I entered the program, and here we are.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, yeah, so it's like really interesting that you kind of like mentioned that you did like programming, because from my experience, like most of the athletes I know, like try to enter the real world in terms of doing sales, right? So
Absolutely.
what like made you go from not doing sales to doing like programming?
I'm unique, man, and I don't like following the crowd. Just like you said, that's what everybody does, sales and things like that. I wanted to do something that wasn't really the normal path, something that would stimulate me, and just something that I could wake up and find challenging. And that's exactly what this field is. I wake up every day and I solve problems. I have to research things that I don't know, and I literally have to just problem solve. And that's literally all I do. And it's just fun, man. Just trying to solve different things, and just if I don't know something, just reaching out to people and just solving problems, man.
Wow. Okay. Well, here, can you kind of give us insight into your journey, like of how you kind of went from football to programming?
Yeah. So I actually had zero coding experience before I entered
Oh wow.
Roots. Started off with HTML,
Mhm.
CSS, JavaScript. And actually before that, I started before I entered the program, let me backtrack. Before I started the program, I watched one of it was like learn HTML in like 15 minutes.
Mm.
And I was coding on JSBin. Like I remember like how to do the doc type, the whole template and all that.
Yeah.
So like for a whole week, I would just make like super, super blank websites. And then eventually I moved on to CSS. And then entering Roots, man, like I said, I had no previous coding experience. Especially with HTML and CSS, it was super fun, just seeing like the front end aspect, just seeing everything come into fruition as
Yeah.
far as like super, super easy websites and things like that. And then with JavaScript, that's
Well,
kind of
wait,
where
wait, 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 wait. So you said super easy websites. Did you think that building a website would be easy before Roots and just before before like
no,
programming?
I had absolutely no idea about anything as far as like the internet and just coding in general. So when I got to see like how I'm not gonna say like it was super easy, but it's fairly easy just making like HTML and CSS
Yeah,
websites.
for sure.
And then when I moved on to JavaScript, that's kind of when I started to hit that wall, man. And I was
Yeah.
like, and then when I got to React and just building those websites that we built in the program, I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell everyone, if I put my mind to something, I achieve it. So I had to make a whole lot of sacrifices. It was a lot of hours, a lot of late nights, early mornings. I was behind that computer, just getting through the modules and coding and just learning things.
Mm.
And
I'm
I'm
glad
glad it
that
paid off.
you, yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. Can you talk about what your approach to studying was and just your overall kind of like schedule around that, if you know, if you have one?
Yeah. So when I left school around in the springtime. So around March, April of 2021. So I had a plan. My original plan was to become a full-time web developer by the beginning of 2022. So what I did when I went back home, I had got a job as a caddy actually for that summer, so I could stock up some money and then make that push to just full time just code.
Yeah.
So during that time I was working as a caddy, I was working, I want to say I was coding for just 2 hours a day.
Okay.
So I would code for 2 hours a day in the morning, and then I'll work all day from like 12 p.m. and get back at like 9.
Oh wow.
And then I did that the whole summer. Then after that summer, I stopped working there. And then I want to say, man, I was coding for at least just 10 hours a day for that whole
Wow.
from the fall into 2022.
Okay. So what would you say was the toughest part about this journey, and what was your takeaway, right? Like what did you learn about you know, yourself
Mm-hmm.
in that?
And I want to say, honestly, the hardest part about the journey would be um, having to having to just realize that it's okay that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And for the most part, a lot of the things that you're looking for is already online. Someone has already done it.
Yeah.
So if you want to get into this field, you have to be you have to be able to know how to just research things and look for references and just be able to just look at different aspects and kind of implement that into your own work. And then on top of that, another difficult thing would just getting your foot in the door. And that's
Mm.
probably another topic we're going to talk into as far as like LinkedIn and things like that. But it was super difficult in getting that first job and just the things I was doing, just reaching out to people and just kind of networking. And it's definitely tough. But once you get your foot in the door, it's a blessing, man. And you're gonna see all the hard work that you put in just come to fruition.
Yeah. Can you can you kind of talk more on what you think, or what type of mindset and skills you think someone needs to have to be able to do well in this journey, to actually learn to code and transition?
First off, you're gonna have to be a hard worker. It's not easy being a software engineer. Nothing about it is easy. It's gonna be hard.
Dude, wait. So hold on. I think that my video of how I made my change might have made it seem easy to people, because I talked to so many people that watch my video and they just feel like it's just something they can quickly just do and just easily do. And I'm like, wait, in that video, I talked about studying from like 6 to 2 a.m. almost every day. Like, this is not a quick thing. So anyways, keep going.
Yeah, it's definitely not like all those videos that you see is become a full-time engineer in 3 months, 6 months. I want to say 8 months. Realistically, it's going to take around a year to fully just understand, like, get all the basic knowledge and things like that. But yeah, man, you have to be able to, like I said, you have to be able to work hard, to be able to reach out to people. I know it's a stigma of how programmers are kind of like in a shell and just want to sit behind their computers and things like that. But believe it or not, programmers, especially a lot of people in this field, they like to network, get out, just talk to people. Especially just being in this field, I love it. I love the people in it. I love how everyone's just welcoming and everybody wants to help you and just move on to that greater goal.
Yeah, the tech field is very welcoming and very helpful to helping beginners learn.
Absolutely.
So, because even like me, right? When I was learning, I didn't have like a mentor or anything like that. And even when I started my first job, I was the only engineer at my first job. It was a startup, 5 people. It was 3 salespeople, the CEO, and me, like the only engineer. So anytime that I needed help, I was just kind of just stuck. It was just me. So the only place I could turn to was Twitter. Because back then, I would be on Twitter like, man, I'm working on this. I have no clue. Does anyone know this and that? And random people would just kind of respond and help me out, to where, one day, the crazy thing is one of like the first engineers at Dropbox, this black guy, one of the first engineers at Dropbox, randomly replied and was helping me troubleshoot something.
Wow.
I was like,
that's crazy.
Wow, okay. That's so crazy. I guess, what would you say that you enjoyed most about this journey, and what did that kind of like reveal about you?
What I enjoyed most about this journey, May 2nd, or before, it was April 27th when I got that job offer, and I saw the email and it said my name and it said software engineer. I was yelling. I was like, wow, man, from a college football player to a software engineer, just everything. Thank you. Everything just coming to fruition. All the sacrifices I made, just sticking to a plan and executing it, really. Just having a plan from day one and being able to execute it and accomplishing a goal, it's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, just executing.
That's good. Well, yeah. Can you kind of talk more about how you went about job searching?
So yeah, LinkedIn. That's a huge component to securing a job in this field. And then I want to say I applied to, I want to say, easily over 100 jobs, connected with a lot of people. just really just selling yourself, just putting yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to just reach out to people. There's going to be a lot of people who don't reply to you. It's going to be a lot of people who just reject you. Just don't worry about that. Just keep reaching out to people, because you will come across that one person who is going to reply back, who's going to offer an interview, who's going to just talk to you and just kind of just get to know you and get to know your story. And I want to say another thing: have a story. People like when people have a story, and people like seeing people who are driven and want to be successful. That's another big thing. But most importantly, man, just don't be afraid to put yourself out there and just tell people what you got going on. Make YouTube videos. Just make blog anything you can, especially with it being in 2022. Just literally anything. Pick up a camera, document yourself. I'm starting my coding journey, so and so. Just document your whole process and just have a plan, and just look at yourself, what you were looking like back then, which the process you were going through, what you were thinking back then, and just see how you came into what you're doing right now. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. That's why I made you guys write those blog posts.
Absolutely.
In the program. And the crazy thing about it is that I used to always write about my journey when I was learning, and I used to tweet about it too. And I actually got my first offer from a random stranger on Twitter that was following me. Wow. This guy reached out to me in Austin, took me out to lunch, and literally offered me a job for $75K. This is a random stranger off Twitter.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's why documenting, just kind of talking about what you're doing is very important. So,
and the crazy thing, so the job I currently work out right now, the CEO, I randomly just connected with them because I was just connecting with a lot of people in the tech field. So that day I randomly just connected to him. He accepted my connection, and he had put out a post that he was hiring software engineers. So I clicked on it, and the CTO, who is my manager right now, that night he reached back out to me and said he wanted to interview me.
Wow.
So we got on the interview and we clicked just like that. And then just from there, the process moved so fast, and it was just, I'm just blessed to literally, if I didn't connect with them, if I wasn't on LinkedIn at that time, I wouldn't be in this position right now. Who knows where I would be. So just like I said, man, just put yourself out there, connect with people, and just have hope.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. How did you prepare for your interviews?
How I prepare for my interviews? A lot of note cards, a lot of studying, kind of just going back to the basics, really, because that's what a lot of it is, just knowing the basics of what you're doing, if you're front end and back end and things like that. And don't get too crazy. Just understand fundamentals and things like that.
Okay. All right. Well, here, can you kind of talk about what your first day was like?
So the first day, I was definitely a deer in headlights.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it wasn't like, I work for a great company. The CTO, who's the manager, my hiring manager, he's a great person. I love working under him. From day one, he said, don't compare yourself to anybody. The only person you can compare yourself is to you. So whether you do a ticket a day or a ticket every week, just keep striving to where you're the best person you can be at the end of the day. And pretty much the first day, it was a lot of just installing things and just getting to know the code base, and just pretty much just pairing up with him and just kind of just talking through things and just everything that they use in the code base and things like that.
Wait, so you kind of just mentioned something. So basically on your first day or first few days, they had you pairing with the CTO or what?
Yeah. So what I did is I came in with three other engineers.
Okay.
So the first thing we did, no, yeah, I came in with three other engineers. The first thing I did was I paired with the CTO, and we talked about the code base, the technologies, and things like that. I set up my computer, the SSH for GitHub and all that, and um, yeah, we just talked about everything and the expectations and how he wanted us to kind of just move along.
That's good. Okay. Well, looking back now, it's been a bit over 2 weeks. How do you feel now?
I would be lying if I said I was like the best programmer and things like that. But I definitely, like, in these 2 weeks, I've learned so much than I have in months, man. Just from like the shortcuts and and things like that, how to move, how to be a more efficient programmer, just how to move around VS Code and kind of search for things and the different things that my manager has taught me. It's crazy, man.
Solid. That's good. That's good. Man, you sound like you work for a very great company.
I
I'm over
do. I
here
love
like,
it.
shit,
I
are
love
y'all hiring?
it. I love it. I love it. I'm blessed.
um, well, okay, here. So yeah, how do you think that the Roots Technology program and just having a mentor overall helped you on this journey?
Man, you need a mentor because you need somebody who is physically in it right now to tell you this is what you need, this is the roadmap, this is what you need to learn in order to get to this end goal. Because if you're, I mean, you can be self-taught, and I mean, we are self-taught, but we have a mentor. But if you want to do it strictly on your own, it's you're just making yourself work that much harder because you don't really have a roadmap. You may be learning front end technologies, and then you see some on YouTube, and then you end up doing some back end stuff, and then you don't know which one to kind of emphasize on. So you're like, and then you end up getting in tutorial hell. So you're like, I don't know where to go from here. So just entering Roots, it really just gave you that roadmap and just reaching out to you like during me making my Spotify app.
Yeah.
I was in a bad place. I was literally just reaching out to you. How do you do this? What is this? How do you get to this? And then if I didn't have you, I probably wouldn't be able to complete the project.
Yeah.
So just having a mentor, it's just somebody you can kind of just lean on when you're stuck and you don't really know what to do. You can't go to Google. You don't know how to kind of just get a reference for something. Just kind of just reach out to somebody, and somebody who really knows what they're doing, just to kind of point you in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, so now that you've made the journey, what like advice looking back would you give to beginners and just those that are interested in making the same career change as well?
Yeah, I would say slow is fast and fast is slow. Really learn the foundations of whatever you're learning. HTML, if you're doing front end HTML, CSS, Java, or first learn HTML and CSS the best that you can. Spend a lot of time on that, where you can just build out just landing pages, just basic web pages, where you can do that without looking at a tutorial. And then whenever you move on to JavaScript, fully understand everything from the variables, hoisting, all that, and then kind of implement all that with websites, including all three technologies. And then when you're done with that, move on to React.js and just keep on just building slowly. Don't do it fast, because that's kind of what I was running into. I was kind of just, especially during the early stages, I was kind of just trying to move as fast as possible. And I was kind of forgetting kind of the basic things. And I really had to take a step back and move back into the HTML and CSS modules. And it was just taking more time than I needed. So I would just say, just take your time. There's no rush. Make sure you know everything, make sure you know everything. And just from there, just move on.
All right. Are you still working with HTML, JavaScript, and React at your current job, or are you having to learn a bunch of different like technologies that you've never seen before?
Yeah, so I'm actually learning a whole lot of things as far as like the TypeScript,
Okay.
React Native,
Oh, okay.
GraphQL, things like that.
Okay.
And oh yeah, and you're gonna have to, being someone who's new, you're going to have to put a lot more hours in on the back end, and just because there's things that you didn't learn that you're going to have to learn wherever you're working at. So just be eager to learn. Don't say no, I don't know what that is. No, I don't want to learn that. Just be eager to learn new things and get ready to implement it into your company.
Okay. Um, do you ever, I guess, deal with imposter
Imposter
syndrome?
syndrome.
Tell us about
Absolutely.
that, man.
Absolutely. I actually got off today. We had a one-on-one with my manager,
Hmm.
and I was like, man, it's hey, but he, like I said, man, he's a great person, man. He's one of those people who you want to. He's one of those managers that you, whenever everyone's off, you still want to be on and still learning and still just want to be the best person that you can. And it's not from him; it's just the way that he talks, and he really cares about the engineering team. And he literally every day he says, "If I wouldn't have hired you if I didn't think you could do the job." So just everything that he does. It kind of just reassures just your capabilities, and yes, you can do it, but you're definitely gonna have that imposter syndrome where am I smart enough? Can I keep doing this? But you just gotta keep pushing through it, man, because
Yeah.
every engineer has experienced it.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I mean, and honestly, like when it comes to imposter syndrome, for me, I just like remind myself that it is okay that I don't know it. Like that's
Yeah,
fine. Like no one knows everything about everything. But I can figure it out. And even if I can't, I can get help.
right,
And really that's it, And I know at times I think people feel embarrassed to like ask for help because it might make them look like they don't know what they're doing. But
right,
you look a lot dumber when you pretend to know what you're doing and you don't.
absolutely.
So might as well just ask for help. And honestly, like that's what people expect of you at this stage, like for you to be reaching out when you need help. So yeah.
Right. And when someone asks you, do you have any questions? Do you understand this? If you don't understand this, yeah, I don't understand. Don't say you understand
Yeah.
it and
Don't
then end up
don't
moving
lie.
on. Right. And then look dumb later on.
Yeah. Programming is not something that you can finesse. Like you can't pretend
Right.
and just like finesse your way into it because you actually
Right.
have to write the code and implement what you're
Right.
talking about. So
Right.
anyways, yeah, man, let's talk about pay. Yeah, so about like how much is this role paying?
Yeah. So right off the bat, it was 71K.
Wow,
Um,
congrats.
thank you. So yeah, I pretty much just um negotiated that. And they were good about it. Um, they didn't really have a, because I asked them what they were with this role, with this type of role with Garner in the pay. So I pretty much I had like an average from one of the modules that you had sent us,
Hmm.
and it was like the Ohio State um, salary. I can't remember the exact name of the website, but I had an average, and I had a number that I was kind of looking for, and I was happy that I was able to meet it.
That's good. That's good. Yes. Something that I try to just tell people is don't be too concerned about your salary at your first job
Right,
because the thing about programming is like you don't have to wait for a raise. You can easily give yourself a raise by just changing jobs. And most engineers change jobs every like year and a half to every two
right,
years.
right,
And you just like, because I think the average raise is between 1 to 3%. So instead of you waiting for that, you could give yourself a 10 to 15 to 20% raise just by changing jobs.
Right.
And get a signing bonus on top of that, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah. But yeah, man, dude, I'm like really, really proud of you, man. Like I'm like really, really happy for you.
Thanks, man.
So this is just the beginning.
Absolutely.
And honestly, like the world is yours, bro, because it seems like you are the type of person that once you want to do something, you typically just kind of do research into it and you come up with a game plan and you just kind of go. Because that's how you went in this program actually. So it's cool to see that, and I think that you are going to enjoy engineering. Like the things that you're like learning now might seem kind of quote unquote hard, but honestly, like hard is just, oh, I don't know it yet. Like that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So you are going to be just fine, and it sounds like you have a great mentor and manager now. Honestly, the way you've been talking up this guy, I'm like, dude, I might have to email this guy. I might have to email the CPO. You've been talking this guy up. But yeah, man, like you are in a great place, because you know, even when it comes to changing jobs, like most people don't leave jobs because of the jobs. Like people leave jobs because of their managers, right? In terms of just not having good managers. So the fact that you're in a great place with a great manager, like that's a blessing, you know. So congratulations on all of that, man.
Thank you, man. Sure. Thank you, man. If it wasn't for you, man, if I didn't see that video, I probably wouldn't be here. And my life changed, man, just becoming an engineer. So I really want to say appreciate you, and what you do is a blessing. It's a blessing.
Of course. Thank you. And don't forget me on your way up, man.
I got you, man. I got you.
All right, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. And hopefully, yeah, we'll come back and do this maybe like a couple years later, you know, to see
Sure.
how, you know, just kind of how you kind of reflect on your journey looking back, and to see where you're at 2 years from now. Who knows? You might be working on a startup, might be in some crypto project, like who knows, you know? So congrats on everything.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Take care. Blessings.
All right, bet. All right, Obi. We'll talk later.